Tonight, I'm going to share how I got started record collecting and the ways that it's enriched my life and how it's heightened my appreciation for music and why I think everybody should consider starting a collection. But I want to paint a scene here first. This is me in about 96, 97, shortly after moving to Colorado from Oklahoma. I have some hippie tendencies, but I prefer something space cowboy or something else. And like any fledgling young adult, I was taking a gap year. I got my first apartment and I began furnishing it with Goodwill stuff and making good use of that adage, one man's trash is another man's treasure, and started collecting records. And with just a couple of $15, $20 purchases and subsequent upgrades, I got an amp and speakers and a decent pair of headphones, and all I needed next was my very first record. So taking a little sidestep, nobody really cares too much about this debate between vinyl and analog, or analog and digital. But the fact is that the analog wave is pure and smooth, and vibrating instruments or voices make the grooves that the needle tracks, and digital is ones and zeros that the laser on the CD player converts to values. And there are incremental losses in digital. And Thomas Edison invented the phonograph, which is entirely mechanical. You speak into a horn that's connected to a needle, the vibration scores the turning surface, and then turn the surface the other way, and the needle picks up the sound and spits it out. And a modern record player is just an electrified version of that. So basically there's three kinds of record players. There's direct drive, belt drive, and idler wheel, and each one has their merits. But it's basically all about removing the vibration or trying to isolate the motor and making it as quiet and achieving the highest fidelity or audio quality possible. So back to record collecting. Now, I love the concept of an album and how an artist chooses the tracking and how the song fits in the order, like making a mixtape of their own music. And removing the song out of its context is sort of sacrilegious unless you're desperately trying to get into Frank Zappa, in which case I recommend this album, Strictly Commercial, which was gifted to me when I was just starting out. And each song on that record is like a gateway to a different soundscape. And Zappa was so prolific and dissonant and musical. He makes, it takes a lot of effort to get his music, but once you get it, you can never unget it. And it becomes an exploration thereafter, and you can never really get enough of it. And that's basically how I get from one album to the next album, is to discover an album at the store, take it home, dim the lights, put on the headphones, drop the needle, listen to the bass, the music, the drumming, the lyrics, the songwriting, the influences. And that leads me to the next album. And this is what I did from the ages of about 19 to 27. And I worked at this funky little diner with a bunch of freaks who all had different tastes in music. And then every paycheck, I went to the record store, spent all my money, and lived on ramen for like 2 weeks until I got my next paycheck. And every other weekend or so, me and my pal Freddie would go up to this little cabin in the woods in this town called Ward. And under dubious circumstances, we acquired the keys to this 1-watt radio station called Way High Radio, and we would turn off the computer that was broadcasting, and we'd pirate the pirate radio. And back to record stores. There's a lot of music to find at record stores, but it's also fun to people watch and check out all the different characters. You can see what people are holding in their stacks. You can listen to what the store clerks are playing. You can see the electronic guys in their section and the jazz guys in their sections, but there's no rules about staying in your own lane. And everybody has their own way of going to digging through crates. And mine is always to go to Z for Zappa first, then go W because it's right there for Tom Waits, then Brazilian, then to jazz for Monk, and then back to rock new arrivals, and then to the cheap bends. And a music store can be like a shrine, I feel like. And when you go to a new city, you can always check out the record stores in the new city, and every city has a great record store. And this is the Amoeba Records in the Haight in San Francisco, which originally was it started out of LA, but this is a really huge record store. And on one of my visits there, while I was just sifting through the P's, I found Fish's first record, Lawn Boy, on Absolute A-Go-Go, just sitting there in the P's, and it was like somebody had left it there for me. I couldn't believe it. It's like I bought it for like $12 and it's like $1,000 record. And sometimes that happens. And when you find that, you're like, score, I got it. And this was a cool record shop in New York that I walked in, and I said to the old guy behind the counter, do you know this song that goes, wah, 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 wah. And sure enough, he pulled this 45 from 1959, Santo and Johnny Sleepwalk, which I just saw, it says Winnipeg on it. It's a Canadian American record. And then another fun aspect of vinyl is like collecting color vinyl and special editions. And this is the Black Keys' first record on white vinyl. And I saw them at the Boulder Theater. And you can see after the show, they signed my record, which makes it totally priceless. And this was another fun story. Probably my all-time favorite album, The Velvet Underground Loaded. I saw Lou Reed at the Boulder Theater. And after the show, I got him to sign this record, and it involved the friend who I was with taking her shirt off and saying, "Lou, sign my tits," which was it's kind of a hilarious story. But anyway, winding down here, another awesome thing about record collecting and being a super appreciator of music is sharing it with your homies. And these are some of my record collecting junkie friends. I don't even know all of their names, but they're people who I know from the shops and just some good pals. And I'm slowly expatriating my record collection back home, suitcase by suitcase, back to Japan. And here was my most recent haul. And to get a little super sentimental here, I'm going to end with Cameron Crowe's a quote from Cameron Crowe's Almost Famous. I always tell the girls, never take it seriously. If you take it seriously, you'll never get hurt. If you never take it seriously, you never get hurt. You never get hurt. You always have fun. And if you ever get lonely, just go to the record store and visit your friends. Whew, I did it. All right. Okay, a little basic, a little cheesy, a little sentimental, but there you go. Those are my 25.